Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to a very different type of video. Today we're going to have a look at my desk. The reason for that is that I just got this video sponsored by Flexispot. They are providing me with a standing desk. Right now I have a sitting desk and well, I noticed that I do sit a lot. I wish I had a standing desk and I used to have one before, but it was this, let's say this cheap solution that IKEA hacked together. So IKEA has these, let's say these 2x2 blocks. I put a 1x4 on top of it and said, hey, I have a standing desk now. It worked okay, but I still ended up sitting most of the time. The Flexispot one that I'm going to be building in this video is quite different because it's one of those electrically movable desks that you can just set in sitting mode and standing mode. Now, I sit quite a lot. When I have the kids, so on a day with my kids, I definitely get active. I walk a lot. But let's say on my work days, it's not so good. I record a lot while sitting, I edit, there's all sorts of things going on. So what I'm looking for, and this is sort of a part one, is the standing desk, and potentially in part two, adding a treadmill below the desk. So you can kind of be walking as you're working. Of course, standing won't work all the time for me. As I'm recording, sure. As I'm editing, sure. But relaxing at night, I'll definitely be sitting down. So first, let's have a look at the current desk setup, see what that's like, and then we're going to be building the new desk. Now, this is what my setup looks right now. I basically have let's say, a fairly usual desk, PC on the right-hand side, little cupboard on the left. We have, of course, the keyboard, the mouse, you know, the basic setup. 2 screens, one for recording, one for playing. A bit of lighting above it, and then a shelving unit where I store all sorts of stuff, including the helmet that you might have seen from Manor, as well as a pegboard, courtesy of the 3D printer, and a bunch of drones. Now, what I like about this desk is that it's very comfortable. I've had this for about 2 years now, and I really like it. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the Flexi desk is going to change the whole setup. So, let's get to building. Here's the desktop, very well protected. It is definitely well shipped, well packaged. I like that. What surprised me really was the amount of time it took between the 2 shipments to arrive. The desktop, so what you're looking at right here, and the legs arrive in 2 separate packages. And because in my case it took 2 weeks between the desktop and the legs to arrive, well, I had this big desktop sitting in a big box. You can still see it on the video behind me in the distance. It just sat in my living room for 2 weeks. I found that a bit inconvenient, and I hope that my shipping time was the exception rather than the rule. Now, as I was unpacking the part of the legs over here, I found a weird plastic thingy. I didn't know exactly what it was. It turned out some part of the desk arrived damaged, despite being packaged up pretty well. Again, I hope that's the exception rather than the rule. So far, I'm finding assembly really convenient. I have the black desktop, and all I need to do is just put these things on the side. You do that with one of those hex keys. Once you've attached those, unscrew some of these, and with that, you'll be able to extend this part to as long as your desk is. At that point, we're going to just screw in these things, and then add the legs, and you're basically done. Next part is adding these lifting columns. You can see the sort of folded up desk parts here. These things are real heavy. The whole desk is going to be, I think, about 60 kilograms. It's a really hefty desk, and I'm probably going to need help flipping this thing over once it's finally done. So if you're going to be getting one of these, make sure that you get a friend to help out, or a family member or such. So, legs installed, motors are attached to those leg columns, and all you need to do now is use these things, plug them into the central hub. This one is AM2, so goes in there. Just a 6-pin connector. It's real easy, it's real convenient. I think building the other desk, the one that I have now, actually took me a lot more time than this one. In a similar vein, I have the control panel up on the front, and with that comes a wire. One is marked as the DC, so direct current. This thing actually has a USB port, so you can use it to charge some device, maybe your phone, for example. It's a neat little feature, and I like it. So, that's the DC port, and then the HS goes in there, Ethernet basic, and that's you done. However, I got this this tangle of wires, and thankfully they have a nice little baffle for that. And with that baffle installed, here we are. No more wires. It's not the most secure way of connecting it. Like, these things hold it into place just by clamping down on it. I was actually expecting to have to go through a pinhole, if you will. But no such thing. You're just clamping it into place. Sure enough, it's secure. It's just slightly different than what I had imagined. Flexispot also kindly sent me this under drawer or under desk drawer. Recommended to install once you're actually working on the desk because it's already upside down. It's far easy to screw this thing in. Comes with an installation guide, as you can imagine. If you want to be exact about this number, this is the Sierra 07 Mike Bravo. That's the kind of drawer that I have. I don't expect it to fit a whole lot, but a couple of pens, maybe a notepad, some gadgets and gizmos that I might occasionally use at the desk. So let's get this installed. And here's the finished product. It fits under the shelf, or rather with the screens moving slightly forward, it fits in front of the shelf. The dimensions in this case are 160 centimeters wide by 80 centimeters deep, and I currently have the desk set up to I think about 106 centimeters. This is to make sure that my elbows are at more or less a 90-degree angle as I am standing. I found it to be so far very comfortable and also very easy to switch from the standing mode to the sitting mode. The desk can save what your preferred standing height and sitting height is, and thereby you just have to press one button and it goes to the preset, and there you go, now it's a sitting desk. As a little life hack, if you will, for standing desks, I have found it to be very easy to set this thing to standing mode before going to bed at night, because that way I know that I'll be able to immediately go and stand at my desk. It just makes that hurdle of going to sit down just slightly higher. And, well, the standing is a health benefit. It really does help. As part of a standing desk, you get to work on your cable management. This is a free problem that got added with a standing desk. Now, it is possible, especially with these Flexispot desks, to get a mount underneath the desk that holds your PC. Makes it a bit easier because then the wires don't have to be as long. In this case, my PC is too big and too heavy. I would highly recommend that Flexispot makes some sort of bigger mount capable of holding the bigger gaming PCs, because at the moment they seem to be more geared towards, let's say, the office desktops. So in this case, my PC has to stand on the ground. And, well, you get this nice tangle of wires sitting underneath your desk, and especially as the desk is quite roomy, quite visible, the whole thing has to get hidden somehow. A little later it looked like this. This is the setup that I have right now. I have these cable management spines. These things are flexible. They hold quite a lot of wires. And as you're doing this, it really makes you appreciate just how many wires you have to maneuver up and down a desk. You got display cables, you got power adapters, you have audio lines, you have your mic, you got your, your headset. I have, of course, keyboard, mouse. There's just a lot going up and down. In this case, these cable management spines, I actually had them 3D printed by my own printer. That really helps because it means you can make them exactly as long as possible. But of course, you can also order a solution from Amazon or Flexispot in this case. As for further up, I had this little thing basically hacked together. It's a very, very cheap plastic wire net to make sure that I have the adapters for my screens being held there. This way, I didn't have to spend another 30 to 40 bucks for a cable management system, if you will, because otherwise the adapters for the monitors would just be kind of dangling over there, which is definitely not good for their health. So they're hiding in there, as well as a USB hub. This is something that I think you can make pretty easily yourself, and you don't necessarily have to order from any of the various suppliers that actually provide that. Something that, for me, as a father of 2 young kids, is very important is the ability to lock this thing down. I don't want my kids to be pushing the desk up and down all day if I'm not available. So, thankfully, they have that covered. You just hold this button for a couple seconds, and it says lock. And now, no matter what button you push, it just won't move. Until, again, you hold this for a couple of seconds. It unlocks it, and then you can actually move it again. So, very nice that they have this this child lock on here, if you will. Although, I use it as a bit more than that, because sometimes you just accidentally bump into the desk, and as you do that, the desk might move. which is not necessarily ideal. So that's the child lock system. I really am happy that that's on there. Another accessory that Flexispot was kind enough to send me is this adapter block. Now, of course, the power sockets might look different in your country, but I have 3 power sockets mounted on the desk this way. Also USB-C and USB-A in case you want to charge something there. I would say that having these things, let's say, just provide 15 watts. That's a bit low for my taste, which is why my wireless phone charger over there is currently plugged in with a normal cable, a normal adapter. That's something I would personally improve, but just having a couple of power sockets on your desk is nice to have. Charge some devices. I'm currently charging a couple of my batteries. It is nice to have. Alright, so by now I've had the standing desk for about 2 weeks, and I gotta say I really like it. I have been standing up a lot more, and while I do feel fit, I'm always trying to lose, of course you're trying to lose a bit more weight, most people are. Standing up is one way to do that, and the desk has really allowed me to do that. As I mentioned, what I usually do before I go to bed, I put the desk in standing mode, and that way when I get back to the computer in the morning, I am instantly prompted to stand up. That lasts for a couple hours, and well, after a while you just get a bit tired. Of course, you're generally moving around a bit, and the desk has really helped with that. As for the desk for wobbling, it doesn't. And this is something that is pretty important to me, because you're standing on the desk, you're leaning on the desk, and does it wobble? No, thankfully not. How well it's going to wobble or not if you mount a PC on it, I can't speak to that. Because as I mentioned, my PC is a bit too heavy. If you do mount your PC to the desk, you're going to level, or you're going to raise the center of mass level of the desk, of the higher surface. So it might start to wobble a bit, but I can't really speak to that as of yet. Overall, I think it's worth it. I think it's a good upgrade to a setup if you are considering changing from a sitting to a standing desk. And yeah, I would definitely get one of these. As I mentioned, there are some things that I would like to see improved. The shipping time, things that arrived somewhat damaged that really didn't have to be. So I'm hoping that that's something that Flexispot can change. And they might not like it that I put it into the review, but I do believe that you guys, as the audience, should get the full picture about what's good, but also what's slightly not so good about the desk. Anyway, hope you guys liked this this change in setup. I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts, and I'm also looking forward to experimenting with the treadmill. That's potentially a follow-up to this video. So thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and I'll see you soon for more videos.